Wealth is second grade math repeated consistently. And so if you can just do one thing and just kind of understand that this is the formula for really, really incredible success and just implement that formula over and over and over, no matter what, incredible tipping points will happen at some stage. Market goes up, market goes down, market goes sideways. You can have a strategy. Doesn't matter what the strategy is. It will work sometimes and it will not work sometimes. That's always the case. And once you are fully aware of that, you start implementing it. And to your point, when it's not going good, like there's definitely times where I have back-to-back losses. I just dip out for a little bit, right? I'm like, okay, cool. I lost. And that's what's amazing is I admitted to myself, I lost today. Someone outplayed me. I played poker, I played a sport, and I lost.
All right, folks, here we are on Trading Nut. We've got a familiar face in the house. If you've been on the channel for a long time, we've got Jerremy Newsome back after, I don't know how many years it is. It was 2018. So, mate, welcome back to the show.
I'm back 7 years later, man.
Yeah, it's a crazy long time. I actually can't believe it's been that long that I've been doing this thing and that we had to wait to get you back on. But it's good to have you on. And what we want to do, and I think for somebody who's been in the industry for so long, you must be full of insights, many more than what you had 7 years ago, and especially going through the pandemic and all that sort of stuff. Are you still just trading Tesla or you've expanding
Tesla, man. Exactly. And it is, for me, I'm trying to capture, like, the thing I tell myself and I tell a lot of people over and over and over, wealth is second grade math repeated consistently. And so if you can just do one thing and just kind of understand that this is the formula for really, really incredible success and just implement that formula over and over and over, no matter what, incredible tipping points will happen at some stage. So for example, if you capture 3 points of movement on 1,000 shares of any stock ever, but in my case, right, I trade Tesla a lot. So 1,000 shares on 3 points of movement captured 200 days a year, it's $600,000, right? Like that's the math. And so the thought process simply like, okay, well, if we can whittle it down and make it that easy, is like, is that repeatable? Is that believable? Is that doable? And it's like, yeah, Tesla moves $19 a day on average. So I was like, I think I can capture $3 of that movement 200 days a year net. And then the great part about that, as you know, is that then it starts just to build. Like if you do 1,000 shares, you do 2,000 shares or 3,000 shares because the process doesn't really ever shift.
And is there anything else that sort of makes Tesla stand out from anything else you've traded in the past?
I did trade Apple exclusively for 2 years, 2011, 2012. I exclusively traded Apple because at the time, right, Apple was a lot more volatile than it is now. It was like 4 splits ago. So the market cap was a lot smaller. I still think it was probably one of the largest companies in the world at the time. But anyway, I think the volatility, number one. So I like volatility. A lot of people are scared of volatility, but volatility for a trader who that's all of your audience, right? Our audiences are traders, people that love the markets. Like volatility is awesome. That's how you get paid. That's what makes it exciting. That's what makes it fun. That's what makes every day different is the volatility game.
And what about like, I mean, have you had any sort of strong beliefs that have changed across the course of, you know, when you were trading Apple back in the day to now around trading?
I'm starting to tap into more ethereal, right? The more implementation that individuals do mentally, that's kind of like where I'm at this stage of my life, where I understand that the edge that I need is a mental edge because I understand the markets. I know how they move. They go up or down. Great. My ultimate question is, what's the absolute perfect trade that I need to place? And what does that trade look like? What does the situation look like? What does the setup look like? Study that, know that, get really clear, have a very, very strong mental edge, and think and grow rich, right? That's the name of the book. The name of the book isn't work harder and make more money. It's think and grow rich. So I'm spending a lot of time in the mental game of this, man. And that's really the big shift.
You've probably heard me talking about trading with confidence. And honestly, it's a lot easier when you're not risking your own money. That's why I wanted to mention Blue Guardian. They offer instant funding or a challenge to get you started and up to $400K in funding, weekly payouts and a 90% profit split. And they've already paid out over $15 million to traders around the world. Plus they're sponsoring Birmingham City FC and Chris Eubank Jr., so you know they're serious about backing performance. Check them out at blueguardian.com or check the link in the description.
Yeah, I mean, it seems, I mean, that is the crux of it, right? And a lot of people struggle with that and they just sort of veer away from it and think, oh, I'll just get another strategy. It's the strategy that'll make the money. how did you sort of like, I suppose, draw a line in the sand and go, no, it is the mental side that I need to really concentrate on, and maybe any sort of techniques that you're using here to get you over those days where it's just not working?
The answer was I studied it, right? Like I removed my ego for a second. I said, why am I trading? And I think a lot of people probably should answer that question. Like, why am I trading? And the answer is you're trading to make money. So if you're not making money, you're doing something wrong. That's the good news. It's a very, very easy formula. If you're not making money, you're doing something incorrect. And the ability for me to sit back and go, all right, well, here's the truth is it's just me. I'm not like, there's no team, there's no group. Like I'm trading my money. It's my capital. Like I'm in it, and no one is making these decisions for me. So I had to shine all the light internally for a second and say, if I want to make money trading, what am I willing to do? And I started studying me. I started studying like what I was doing and the variables and the changes and the shifts and the updates. That's how you become extremely, extremely skilled at the awareness that it's all a mental shift, man. Because the strategies, the market goes up, market goes down, market goes sideways. You can have a strategy. Doesn't matter what the strategy is. It will work sometimes and it will not work sometimes. That's always the case. And once you are fully aware of that, you start implementing it. And to your point, when it's not going good, like there's definitely times where I have back-to-back losses on Tesla or back-to-back-to-back losses on Tesla. I just dip out for a little bit, right? I'm like, okay, cool. I lost. And that's what's amazing is I admitted to myself, I lost today. Someone outplayed me. I played poker, I played a sport, and I lost. The game was over. The fourth quarter finished, and I didn't have enough points. The other team won. Cool. That happens a lot in life. And there's a big difference between losing and failing. Right? Everyone's going to have losses. Everyone's going to endure the pain of losing. But when you do lose, learn from it, study it, understand it, tweak, adjust, adapt. I just started doing that all the time. As every time I lost, I would spend longer the next day or the day after studying those losses, figuring out what they looked like, why it happened, what I did, trying to tweak and adjust, and then go forward next couple of weeks, really honed in on the realization of why I lost, what caused that loss, tweaking and updating and shifting that, and then implementing it for future trades.
And thinking back, it was quite kind of interesting. So thinking back to like a losing streak of maybe 3 trades, right? So 3 trade loss. On a 3 trade losing streak, would you be seeing like common elements, i.e. it was the strategy failed just 3 times in a row and I executed flawlessly, or was it more one of them was me, one of them was a strategy, and the other one was a combination of both? Did you have any sort of like, aha moments there where it's like, okay, well, actually, this is something I really need to work on, and if I can fix that, then maybe it won't be a 3 trade losing streak. It'll become a 1 trade losing streak, and I'll win the next 2 trades, or I won't even take them.
I won't even take them. That's usually what I ended up finding out. That's what I ended up finding out. So, for example, doing a lot of this research, I whittled down almost unequivocally my most profitable days and my most profitable times of the day and my most unprofitable times of the day. So I am a coin flipper in the first 30 minutes. Like I have almost no discernible edge in the first 30 minutes. I've always wanted to, but I'm like 50-50. So there's no real edge in 50-50. Unless you win more than you lose, you're not going to have an edge. Now, I generally do win more than I lose, which is nice. But Fridays, Cam, I always lost on Fridays. Meaning like net, as I go through all of my trades, Fridays were non-profitable days. So guess what I started doing? Not trading Fridays. Like simple as that. Just stop doing it. Monday mornings, very profitable. Tuesdays, decently profitable. Wednesdays, my most profitable day of the week. And so I really, really got, okay, cool. Most of my money I'm going to make on Wednesday and Thursday. That's why I've learned. The majority of my money and the most profitable day trades I'm going to make, according to all my statistics, is going to be between the hours of 11 and 2 Eastern. So I started whittling everything down, and to your point, just doing less and less and less, because ultimately I was noticing certain patterns. And that's what we have to do in trading is we have to look at the patterns of our trading, because sometimes with the strategy And man, if I implemented the strategy flawlessly and it just did not work, I never cared. I never beat myself up over those trades, and it's all good. But 95% of the time, it wasn't the case. It was me not doing prep, not putting the plan on the chart the night before, and then the morning of not reading that plan and following through on the plan. It was always something that was me based. But the 5% of the time that I took the trade and it was literally the strategy and the trade just did not work, cool. I was always fine with that.
Hey folks, what a view behind me. I'm at Black Bull Markets headquarters here in Auckland, New Zealand. Speaking of views, you can get TradingView paid plans for free at Black Bull Markets, saving you up to $600 a year. That's right, get either the Essential, Plus or Premium plans absolutely free, and all you need to do is trade from one lot a month at Black Bull Markets. And you can also get a 100% deposit bonus for your first deposit up to $1,000. All you need to do is click the Trading Nut link in the description below.
So the other thing, like I suppose, with not taking trades, obviously not trading Friday or not taking trades that you realized were hurting your P&L, how do you deal with not deciding, okay, I'm not going to take this trade, and then going to see that goes on to win? It would have been a good winner. Yeah. How have you dealt with that mentally?
That's the mindset of abundance, man. And I remind myself, I will say that word and I will almost literally repeat out loud verbally, I'm in a state of abundance. I'm so happy other people made money, right? I start going there because if the trade works, I get really excited because I know someone somewhere in the world won on that trade and they made money and they made income for their family. And that's what I want anyway, because the law of abundance state that there can always be more than enough for everyone. So for me personally, if I go to a restaurant and I'm eating at that restaurant and I get full, I'm not like, dang, but I could have gone over there and had burritos, and then I could have gone over there and had more chicken. It's like I'm full. And so if we have enough for ourselves, the law of abundance states other people can have a lot more as well. So for me, that's what I do is I just shift into that mindset instantly that everyone's winning, everyone's having a great time, everyone else is making money, they're doing great, I'm doing great, everyone's great. And that allows me to not feel that FOMO.
Nice. That's a nice way to do it, and a nice little tip for anyone who struggles with that. Hey, you are a high energy kind of guy, and I guess that comes with like a lot of emotions, and maybe a lot of other people out there are kind of like you, and they're thinking, I'm too high energy for trading. I need to be more calm. How do you deal with like keeping your emotions in check?
Yeah, I think people, if you do feel that way and you do feel like you have a lot of energy, man, go do something. I mean, that's the other thing too, is like for me to trade, I have a pretty rigorous physical routine. So since our last session, like our last interview, man, 2018, like 2019 was a life-changing year for me. There was a lot that I did, a lot of training, a lot of physical exercise. And I fell into this really, really interesting slippery slope of, for me to trade better, the better I traded generally stemmed from, to your point earlier, what type of output am I doing physically, so that when I'm there, I'm not like tense, I'm very relaxed. I'm essentially almost like a blend between tired and peaceful, where I'm not really needing anything. I'm just kind of calm and relaxed because I went out and did a lot of physical exertion. So for me, man, that is a big portion of it. And I think that, again, traders, we're trading to be free. We're trading to create enough money and enough income that we can probably go do whatever we want to go do at any time in the world and not have a job, not have a boss. I think it's probably why a lot of people love trading. So go do those things, right? Yeah. Keep it in mind, right? Go out and actually do them. Go on runs, go on hikes, go bike, go swim. I live in Laguna Beach, California now, and I live 0.7 miles from the ocean. So I'm down the ocean a lot. I run down there. I'll work out on the beach. Me and the family go to the beach. So it's like, yeah, spend time doing the things, because if you start really, really realizing and you look through all of your trades and you go, what were the absolute most profitable trades that I took? Why were they extremely profitable? What did they look like? And you start categorizing like your A+ trades. I just primarily look for those. And if I primarily look for A+ trades, and that's almost what I take, like today was a really, really good day in the markets for me because it was the exact same thing. It's exactly what I wanted, not on Tesla, but on a lot of other positions. You had really, really good gaps. And I love trading gaps. I'm a big gap trader. And if Tesla was an inside candle today because it had a great day yesterday. So great day yesterday, inside day candle today means no day trading Tesla because it's an inside day, meaning it's fully within the high and low of yesterday. So I'm allowed to trade other things if that's the case. And other things were working out fantastic. So ultimately, man, yeah, study, get analytical, get really, really ingrained, and then understand if you start working on this consistent basis of doing the exact same thing all the time from an energetic standpoint, it allows people to probably realize what works for them best.
So imagine this, right? So you're in a trade. I mean, how long do your trades typically take?
Usually most day trades are 2 hours generally, and then any swing trade that I'm in, most option trades are less than 30 days.
Hey folks, just jumping in here quickly. Now, if you're looking to trade dynamically, you want to learn from my own trading mentor, JJ, then what you need to do is click the link in the description, register your interest, because we're going to be launching this Dynamic Traders Club very soon and you don't want to miss out. All right, let's dive back in. Well, let's go with a 2-hour trade, right? So you're in a 2-hour trade. What kind of self-talk do you say to yourself, or kind of routine do you have whilst you're in that trade and it's running in profit? Let's go, it's running in profit. What kind of self-talk will you have, and what's your process for, I suppose, managing that trade or getting out of it?
Great question. So thankfully, my self-talk game for most of my life has always been pretty positive. I very, very rarely beat myself up over things. I'm just kind of like a nice guy to myself. I think that's important. So my self-talk game is pretty strong. I do great affirmations. I'm very, very cautious about what I say out loud because our words create our world. So whatever I speak is going to come into fruition. So I'm very, very kind to myself. But the second piece, man, for me is more exiting and managing a position is all based on numbers for me. So I currently trade with a $10,000 risk unit. And my goal is to get 4 profitable risk units realized for the month, because that's kind of like my baseline of like, if I can make $40,000 a month, I can kind of cover everything and everyone's good and everything's taken care of, right? So if I can, once I hit 4 realized risk units for the month, then I can start doing a lot more letting trades run, holding trades longer, not necessarily looking at the trades, but just like setting stops, targets, kind of walking away, not really in front of my computer very often. But as of right now, like today, we're early in the month, really early in the month. So I am going to go after those 4 risk units, and I'm going to really be aggressive. I'm going to watch closely. I'm going to move stops aggressively. I'm going to be really in it so that I can get those 4 locked in. And then once I get those 4 locked in, I can have a lot more leeway. I will hold trades a lot longer. I will be in trades a lot longer. I'll go for bigger targets, but that's only after I get 4 hours realized for the month.
And are you kind of, would you consider yourself more of I suppose a master of reading price action?
Yeah.
Or are you more just like, here's my strategy, I just execute it, it's got a few rules and, it's kind of simple?
Both. I'm really, really, really good at price action. That's probably my number one focus is really candlesticks and understanding how people are feeling, because realizing that the whole market is just human emotion and human sentiment. That's why I like stocks, is because stocks it's very sentiment driven. It's very like organic, and it's all based on how people are feeling. So if I know how someone is feeling and I can look at that and say, yep, that person feels this way, so I'm going to act this way. Oh, it's the best.
So if I was to like put you in front of a Forex chart, right? So yep. Euro, US dollar.
Yep.
Do you think you would be able to, get through a trading session and, let's say 3 days worth of trading sessions and come out up for that market?
Yep. No problem.
Okay, so you're a price action kind of guy. You understand how the markets move and what's driving the underlying price movement, i.e. the people that are buying and selling, which is fantastic. So when you're in these trades, right, and you've got the self-talk going on, how do you? Because what I find with somebody who really understands price is you've kind of got to work out, okay, this is what people are doing, but what are the probabilities as well? Because you can sometimes see the same kind of thing happening for somebody, for a short or for a long, but sometimes because of where they are, it that's what actually tells you that, okay, well, the probability is against that move going short because of where it is in the move. I mean, how do you then sort of manage your trades and sort of stay in a trade versus closing one early?
Oh, I close every trade early, dude. I've learned that. I mean, the real answer is I do have a lot of if-then statements. So as I'm trading and price is forming, I say, if this happens, I'll do this. If this happens, I do this. And so I usually have a lot of those two parameters. From a day trade perspective, if I move a stop, almost without question, it has to be at least 21 minutes have passed. I would say 90% of the time. If it's really, really early in the morning and I'm taking an aggressive trade, I'll be a lot faster with my stop loss move. But yeah, if I'm in a trade after the first 30 minutes of market open, 99% of the time I'll move my stops after 21 minutes have passed, which is 7 candles on a 3-minute chart. That's almost what it kind of
okay.
Yeah. So, and I've noticed that most patterns, most charts, if they're going to move, it's somewhere between 2 to 8 candles. So in 2 to 8 time periods of whatever time period, if you're like, man, when's this thing going to move? That's usually when it is. So 2 to 8, somewhere after that, it starts to start moving for you. So yeah, man.
So even if you're seeing strong pressure against your move, you're still going to hold it for that 7 candle. Period, and then decide to move because it could just be a fake out or whatever.
And I get stopped out too. I get stopped out all the time. I mean, that definitely happens for sure. And my average loss is right now about 0.78 risk units. So again, if one risk unit is $10,000, every loss is about 7,800, give or take. Pretty close to that. It's like my average. But my average win is right around $12,000 or 1.2 risk units. So my take home is that spread. And I really am still almost a professional coin flipper. But the 50-50 ratio for me is if I can win more than I lose mathematically, I can flip the coin as many times as I want. And that's really kind of what I focus on is just that spread of the losses. So I absolutely will get lost and stop out of trades. Trades really do run and run and run. I always get out too early. Every single trade ever, I've always gotten out too early. But I don't really care about that, man. I just care about paying my bills and making my money.
Now, what about like indicators or kind of market internals or technical analysis? Do you have any that you use or find really helpful right now that you think a lot of retail traders overlook?
Not overlooked, no. I really do use long-term averages pretty well. So the 100 and 200 simple moving averages. I use those on pretty much all time frames. And then I'll use the 10 exponents moving average. So I like moving averages. Those are fun. I think they're extremely useful and they work extremely well. There's the moon, new moon, full moon. I like moon indicators. They're awesome. But the good news is we always know what a full moon's going to be and we always know what a new moon's going to be. Like that's calculatable for the rest of human history. It doesn't really change. So we know that going forward. We know when the moon phase is. You buy on full moons and sell on new moons. So, that's an indicator. But
how the hell does that work? I mean, what is the theory behind that? I mean, is it because it's got to be some kind of theory, right? And I know the moon does pull on the Earth's gravity, so you get the high tides and low tides and all that sort of stuff. I mean, how does it?
And you're comprised of mostly what?
Exactly, water. So therefore, what is it doing to us to make the market move?
I don't know, dude. I don't know how the whole astrology thing works. It's really, really bizarre. But I mean, in 2014, 2015, I got hired to help build a hedge fund, astrological hedge funds, get created from ground zero. Yeah. And it is wild how well a lot of those things seemingly work. Again, is it coincidence? Is it like, hey, I put a line on the screen, the line works? Maybe. But I think it's all because it's organic. I mean, if you think about people use the ocean as a metaphor for the markets all the time, right? All the time. They're talking about waves and waiting for the right wave and all the stuff. But the moon moves the ocean. So it's like this really, I think, just fun, organic, little cool, mystical thing that I think works probably better than a lot of people think it does.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? So I know you've got a bunch of students, right? So a lot of students. What do you think some of the traits are that or even habits that separate the guys who are most successful versus the rest?
Fear of losing capital is going to be a really big one. And I'll say fear of losing capital. If an individual has $30,000 or less to their name, they're not going to trade very well. And that's just simply because that's all the money that they have. And if they lose all of it, they're going to be in a big pinch. It's going to be a really big bind. So having more money is always going to make this particular game a lot easier, but it makes life easier. So for those who are trading with less capital, it's one of those situations where it's like, listen, the most important thing to do at this stage is find ways to grow that capital. And it's okay if it's working. That's fine. Like, go get a great job. Go get 2 of them. Work some overtime. Like, it's okay to have a smaller account and just physically, manually build it up. But that loss aversion is going to keep a lot of people timid, because if you are scared and you are playing in the markets and a trade starts going against you and you're like, oh, here it comes again, and you exit too early and it ends up working out. Fear aversion is a big one. And to overcome the fear of losing and to have the absolute certainty and the awareness that this stuff works, you just got to go with the trend. Like, what is it? Is it up? Is it down? You got to go with the trend. Once you know what the trend is, and once you know when the trend starts changing, you study those 2 things pretty aggressively so that you can really start knowing and feeling and seeing and understanding it. You can do extremely well in the markets, but you got to have the experience. You got to have the confidence. You got to know how. So put yourself in a trading environment to prove to yourself. But yeah, man, loss aversion, that's probably the biggest one. And then I think second, a lot of people say it's discipline, meaning like a lot of traders just lack discipline. But I would just say it's discipline in life, right? It's not just discipline in trading. It's discipline in everything. I think the vast majority of the world's problems will be solved when individuals have more consistency and discipline in life. So if someone is disciplined in not only trading, but in any aspect of life, they'll be successful whatever they do.
It's so true. It's so true. And look, I mean, just added to that, I mean, I know that's actually probably a really good answer for this next question, but I'm sure there's another thing. There's probably heaps. If you could pass on like one principle to somebody who wants to become a professional trader, what would it be?
Man, that's a good one. One principle. I would say study how to be a contrarian, right? Study thinking differently. When everyone's thinking something, try to figure out why, where, and see what the silver lining is and work on that. Because I mean, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, the markets were on fire. Everyone was happy. I was getting people from high school like, dude, I'm buying stocks. What do you think? Like, people reaching out, like asking me questions. And right now, crickets. Right? Crickets meaning like there's very, very few people reaching out, and everything I'm reading is fear and terror and scare and everyone. So you can start understanding if you are a contrarian thinker, and you can sit down and say, if everyone's zigging, how can I zag? And specifically, why is everyone zigging? Like, what's the thought? What's the fear? That's why I moved to California. It's one of probably 7 reasons. But I was in Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee. And everyone was moving to Tennessee from California. And so my thought was like, why? Why is that? And I come over to California. I'm like, wow, this place is amazing. It's really, really cool. So learning to be that is probably going to be one of the better skills, because you'll make the most money that way.
I've had a few contrarians on the show before, and they do tend to do quite well. Now, we'll wrap this show up soon. So, what's pushing you to grow and evolve in your trading at the moment?
Good question. I would say probably most of my evolution is going to be personal at this stage. Like my trading, believe it or not, man, trading is super boring for me. Like, I don't do anything cool. It's the same process. That's why I teach people. That's why I love helping people. That's why I love working with individuals, because it's so easy, man. It's so simple. It's not hard. And for me, I want to grow personally and professionally and spiritually and emotionally and relationally. Trading, I don't think my trading's ever really going to evolve from this stage. I'm sure maybe there'll be some aspects that'll evolve, but I don't know what those aspects will be realistically at this stage. Maybe tracking, cooler mechanisms for tracking, cooler websites that kind of give me more data, more inputs, maybe brainwave scans and some signals and some biochemical stuff could be really fun and interesting to test. But ultimately, man, the real question for me is what causes me to evolve from a personal front, because I think changing is one of the coolest parts about human history, is us adapting constantly, never ending change, never ending growth, always finding ways to just become the best version of yourself. I've been propelled by that stuff my whole life, and it excites me. It motivates me. That's what I love, because money can't buy a finish line. So when I want to go do something really hard and I go find some really cool races or some really cool events or some really fun things to participate in, that's exciting to me, because it gives me the ability to say, this is me versus me. And that's just one of my favorite domains to play in.
Awesome. Hey, well, look, Jerremy, it's been fantastic having you on. I think there's a ton of value in this episode, folks. If you've listened to the whole thing, you probably want to go back and listen to it again, because some of the nuggets he drops is a top drawer. Now, what's the best way for people to find out more about you?
Yes, absolutely. So hop over to reallifetrading.com, go through all of our free education. We have over 100 hours of free education. It's incredible. It's a great program, great product, great website. If anybody wants to get a hold of me personally, anywhere on social media, just make sure you spell my name right. 2 R's, Jerremy. My dad's name was Jerry, so it stands for Jerry and me. That was my mom's gift. But yeah, just reach out anywhere on social media. I'm all over the place, and shoot me a message. I have a great social media team. I'm happy to communicate with anyone who's part of this podcast, anyone who's a part of your squad and your fan base, man, because I see you growing and blowing up, which makes me so happy. Because again, you kept doing it. You stayed consistent. You stayed disciplined, right? That's the key to winning.
That is the key. That is the key. Hey, look, Jerremy, thanks for coming on again, mate. After 7 years, it's been a long time, but well worthwhile getting you back on. And all the best for the future.
Likewise, champion.